Hi, everybody. This is Patti Negri. Welcome to the Witching Hour. The Witching Hour, that hour of the day when the veil is thinnest and magic happens. Usually it's really late at night, but right now it's whenever you're tuning into this podcast. The magic of this podcast is in my guests, my amazing guests, the best in the field of magic, spirituality, the occult, and all its branches. And today I'm really proud to bring you someone that a dear friend I've known for several years now. I actually just got back from her house and her city in Dallas, Texas. Let me introduce you to my friend, Joy Kauf. She's the founder of Miracles of Joy Spiritual Center. It's a mecca of healings, readings, and esoteric studies in the Dallas area. She's a master teacher and galactic healing. She brings passion to her work. She's a channel for Native American, ascended masters, and ancient Egyptian energies. She's a willing vessel for all her frequencies who want to merge and bring wisdom. She has dedicated her life to helping others connect with the divine and find their highest calling. Joy's also a certified as an ascended theta practitioner, a certified Reiki master teacher, and a gifted psychic. And believe me, you walk into her store and you feel it all. So let me introduce you, my friend, Joy. Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much for coming.
It is my pleasure, Patti. It is my pleasure.
You truly are. Thank you. I travel around a lot. I go to a lot of different shops and stores. And from the second I first walked into yours, before I knew it was different. I knew it was special. I knew the magic, just went a block down the street. So I know your history. You're in many modalities, beautiful modalities. You walk in every little, even the reading rooms. You have your Egyptian room and you have your Native American room, and how you combine them beautifully. But I know your history also. You were like corporate successful banker of City Financial Bank. You came from a very, very corporate world. How did you end up here? And what was the calling of spirit to get you into this very beautiful, different world?
I would have to say that I've gone to channels since I'm in my early 20s. There was this harmonic conversions that everyone talks about. And at that particular, I'm going to say my background is Shirley MacLaine out on a limb, and that's really dating myself.
I'm there.
But that was my opening to what channeling was. So I spent my life trying to understand channeling and learn how to channel, learn how to connect. And I had a life. I was a single mom, so I went into corporate America, went down the path. I ended up, my last position was vice president. I used my psychic gifts, I believe, in everything that I did, even in corporate America. I would just get information that I didn't know where it was coming from. I would not have deemed myself as psychic at the time. However, when I started doing readings at the store, or when practitioners like yourself would come in and do readings and things of that nature, I would realize that I was picking up the same information they were picking up. So I'm going to say it was spirit gave me kind of a kick in the butt. Probably it was 2005. I was told at that time it was time for me to leave my job, quit my job, and do something that I always wanted to do. So I opened up a metaphysical store that started off as Messages of Joy. And when I moved to my new location, I was guided to change it to Miracles of Joy.
That's beautiful. Now that's a leap of faith, I must say, leaving the very corporate world of banking and finances to the metaphysical world in any sort. So that was a trust, right? Just trusting your guide, spirit.
It wasn't really, I'm not going to say it wasn't a simple jump for spirit. I mean, part of it is I would get the messages for a year. I was being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's time for you to quit your job. It's time for you to step out. And when I finally put in my notice, I'm like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? And I actually walked into a store that was teaching a numerology class, and the woman said that she needed to sell her business. And by the end of the month, I actually bought it. So that's how we actually So it was kind of like guided. If I tell you guided, you know when you're on the right path, because these miracles and these doors start opening up for you. You start to have these coincidences that come back into your life. And if you ask for what it is that you need, spirit will provide it, especially when you're on your path.
Yes, and that is really good. And there's a flow to it. When we're struggling, we have to look at, yes, there's struggles and we have lessons and struggles that we have to do. This is school. But all of a sudden, if you realize that you're following your path, wow, it's just open. Here's the path. It's opening. It's opening. So we do know, again, the crazy times we always talk about here, a lot of people are turning to spirituality in different forms of alternative spirituality. And your store is they walk in and there's many paths to go. If somebody was new to this, somebody listening going, I don't know what I want, I know I want something, how would you recommend they start figuring out maybe what their path is or multi-paths are?
My first step with people is, one of my favorite, I call it my favorite tools to teach someone, is be willing to give yourself 10 minutes a day. I talk to anyone and everyone who will listen to me, and I said, it's called sitting in your seat and following your guidance and listen to what you want to do, where you want to go. Now, at Miracles of Joy, we offer a meditation, channeling, Reiki energy healing, all kinds of different practices, but we also have a crew that we talk to people all day long. They're walking in, not sure where it is that, what's their next step? What is it that they want to do? And we have an experienced crew that they can talk to and come in and just talk about what's going on. Now, we get a lot of people who, for the first time, they're feeling ghosts or spirits in their house. And some people will walk in and say, this is the craziest thing you've ever heard. I can promise you it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. So we just talk to people and kind of guide them on their path. What are some of the basics that I give people? Meditation. Take a meditation class, start doing meditation. What is it that you're guided to do? What is it that feels right to you? And then I tell people, don't judge classes that you've been to. And what I mean by that is allow yourself to be guided, but if it's not for you, if that class wasn't for you, find another one, go to another one. Find the person that's actually right for you in order to help guide you in your path. We do have several people who are associated with the store that do spiritual life counseling. For those that are starting out, I teach an empath class, that we teach. And it's like embracing your empathic self, because I feel there's this sort of negative, I want to say something about empaths, oh my God, I'm an empath. I can't believe that I'm an empath. I feel everything. And I go, congratulations, that means you're psychic. Now, how do you embrace being empathic? How do you go about clearing your energy field? Here are some of the tools that you can use in order to do it. And one of my favorite that I tell people is learn how to take Epsom salt baths. They're one of the, best cleansing that you could possibly do for yourself. And then learn how to stand outside, learn how to hug a tree, learn some basic tools, get a selenite wand. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. Learn how to cut cords. So when someone walks in the front door, we teach them some basic tools and techniques that they could use to get started. And that is clearing their energy field, balancing their chakras on a regular basis. And I tell them balancing your chakra is just focusing on it. Once you focus on that chakra that you feel is out of balance and you put your attention on it, you actually bring it back into balance at that particular time. So it's little steps that they can take. And then if you want to learn how to read tarot, if you want to be an astrologer, if you want to study numerology, if you want to study Reiki, my favorite is to tell people, take a Reiki class. Reiki is not just for you healing other people. It is for you to be able to heal yourself, as well as clear your chakras, feel aligned, bringing yourself in aligned on a daily basis. We live in an energetic world, whether it's cell phone and, whether we want to talk about, it's electricity around us, but we also live in two realms. We live in the past and the future. We forget to come to the present moment. And when we're living in those realms, planning, worrying about what we did in the past, what are we going to do in the future? We end up scattering our energy and we end up losing focus. So it's really about doing something on a daily basis to come into the present moment every single day, whether I call it sitting in a seat. I say, create a sacred space. I don't care if it's just a chair. somewhere where you could sit in that seat every single day and just let everything go and focus on the present moment and focus on your connections with your angels and your guides.
That's beautiful. And you're right. We are so stuck in what did happen and what's going to happen. We forget the now and that being in the present moment. And especially now, I like what you said. That, again, I'm noticing it too, whether it's the state of the planet or the world, more and more people are experiencing weird things, whether it's ghosty things or paranormal things, and more people are doing that. I'm an empath. I can't, maybe there's more to feel, and it is. They see it as a negative, and it's a positive. So do you think that's a change literally in the energies of the planet, or people are becoming more aware, or because it's a fear-based place? What do you think is really going on?
I think COVID-19 woke everyone up. I have never seen the number of people walk into my store. It's like when we reopened, I think we closed in March when we're supposed to in Texas. We reopened around the second week of May of 2020. And then by August, it's like someone blew the doors off of the place. We had so many people that were coming in. Now, it could be several things. I always tell this story and when I do lectures about it, I tell everyone, I said, for the metaphysical business, COVID was a blessing. I mean, we had a bouncer at our front door. And what I mean by that is we can only have a certain number of people in a store that we would actually have to have someone stand and wait for other people to leave, for other people to come in. And I think what happened was everyone was at home. They're sitting at home. And all of a sudden they have that negative energy. And that negative energy is not that corner lady in the cubicle that's always negative. It's still with them. Because what I got is everyone was coming in saying, I feel this negative energy and I don't know where it's coming from and how do I clear it? And they realize they are the conduit of the negative energy. So it's more about teaching them how to clear their energy field. We could not keep sage, Palo Santo, any kind of clearing, sea salt. We couldn't keep any of that in stock because people were buying it left and right because all of a sudden they become aware of clearing their energy field. The other thing is we're very empathic, okay? I feel like they were in the present moment more. And what do I mean by that? They're not driving an hour and a half to and from work in the morning and in the evening. Now they end up with 3 hours a day where they're in more of that present moment, that they started to actually connect, like, I'm hearing things that I never heard before. I think my angels are trying to talk to me. I think that, I think something is happening. So it was really, people started to open up. It was an awakening that happened at that moment. Now we're now going into 2022. What has happened along that path? A lot of people started to go on YouTube. They started to learn more about this awakening, about their connection, about, I believe all of us are psychic. All of us have guidance that is with us nonstop. I don't care if you want to call it angels, Native American, Egyptian. I don't care what label you put on it. We all have that internal guidance that we're following. And they started to hear that and pay attention to it for the first time. 2022, now I'm seeing people who are opening up their own businesses. There's a huge awakening that's happening on our planet. We have so many more metaphysical stores that have opened up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been doing this for 16 years, and there's like one opening up, it feels like every month. What we used to have, like maybe 5 metaphysical stores, 6 metaphysical stores, we now have 30 in just the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where people are opening up and people are stepping into their work. They're becoming psychics, they're becoming teachers. They work from home. They've learned how to do this, and now they want to do their own calling. What is their calling for humanity? What is their calling to open up? Now at 2022, what I've seen is all of a sudden, I feel we are so connected to what's happening to Ukraine. We don't realize that we're all one on this planet. And when we have energy that is that negative in one aspect of our planet, we feel it somewhere else. So people are trying to attach Why do I feel this way? Where's this anxiety coming from? Where's this fear coming from? Why, I'm feeling this, so there's got to be something wrong with my life. And the truth of the matter is, they may be nothing wrong with their life. They're just empathic, and they're picking up on something that's happening on the other side of the planet.
Right. So what would you suggest to someone like that?
I would suggest, if there's nothing going on in your life today, focus. Maybe you're picking up on something that's going on the other side of the planet. If that's what it is that you're picking up on, learn how to clear your energy field. Epsom salt baths, cutting cords. What you want to do is just keep yourself as clear as you can as a vessel. I get people to carry amethyst is one of my favorite stones that people can carry, because it transmutes negative energy into positive. So start focusing on crystals and stones. My two favorite for people who are starting out is rose quartz and amethyst as a combination. Those are two of my favorite. Smoky quartz is one of my favorite stones as well for clearing negative energy. It's a softer clearing that maybe other black stones aren't, like obsidian and tourmaline. So I tell people, start working with crystals. Selenite's one of my favorite because it's a salt-based crystal. It never needs to be cleared. So you can put that with your other crystals and it'll keep them clear for you.
Yep. I'm looking at mine right now. Wait, it's over on the other side of my desk. But yes, it makes a difference. So this new awareness of things. And I agree. I do think it's an awakening again, and I agree it was a wake up call. Literally, the heavens, the gods, the universe, whatever you want to say, just wake up call. Just now go to your room and stay there for 2 years until you figure out what's important. So we did.
Right.
So we did. So it's but everything does seem like the intensity has gone up too. So I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. I don't know if that's a planetary thing. I don't know if it's that age of Aquarius we're moving into. I think it has something to do with that. But it's like the battery power was turned up on everything, the good, the magical, the not so good, the
not so good. Because what's happening, I'm going to say, when I say the not so good, is there are people who are experiencing a lot more negative, I'm going to say, beings that they've never experienced before. I've had my own experience of that this particular year. And part of it is, it's kind of like, I sometimes think, not that I'm not fearful of it. And we're not to be fearful of it. If there's something that we're not comfortable with that kind of shows up, we have the power to send anything away that shows up in our reality. And it's learning that if you all of a sudden feel something where you're not comfortable with that vibration in your house, go away. I don't want to experience you. It's time for you to leave. And I feel like sometimes people don't realize they have that power within themselves. And what I do is I said, you have the power to send that energy away, send it away. If you feel that you're not powerful enough to send it away, then I tell them, call in Archangel Michael. I teach them how to call in, angels and guides that they can call in to send something away. Are they really calling them in? Yes. I think Archangel Michael is part of all of us. I think it's part of our soul on some level. So we have the power to call in that higher power for us in to actually send something away. And I have experienced it this year. I have experienced that there have been a lot more negative beings on this planet. And in some level, when someone says, well, what do you do when you experience it? I said, it's telling me what's coming. It's getting me ready for those people that walk in my front door. So when I learn how to clear it, I can teach others how to clear it. We can't teach what we don't experience on some level. And I feel like when that happens, I'm like, okay, I got a wake up call. I understand what this is. I know what I need to do. I learned how to send it away. I became more comfortable in my environment. So every reading that I get now is, I think I saw this being, and it was this, black being showed up in my house, and I know what that's about. I learned how to clear it. So it's teaching other people how to clear it, how to send it away. it didn't really rock me. It rocked me because I started to say, okay, this is the third time that I'm seeing something like this. Why am I seeing this? What is this that's happening? And, you know, we create that energy on this planet. I feel like if you have a war that's about fear and terror and on one planet, we're actually creating that energy on some level on this planet. And then at some point, aren't we in an essence responsible for clearing that energy on some level? So I feel like we're clearing that energy as well on some level and helping to raise the vibration of this planet.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I just learned something. I mean, I learn from you all the time, but I've always been a believer. This is our realm. We have full control. And we're in the spirit world, dark, light, ghost, demon, did, our world, my thing. But I'm not that much about that off-worldly thing, you know, other than the angelic, going into extraterrestrials and stuff. And I've actually, since that hasn't been my world, not been. Do they go when you tell them? So I just learned, yes, they do too. This is still our realm. We don't talk about that much on our show. And I am so intrigued with it. I know it's there. I think some of the little things I played with as a little kid were not just spirits and elementals and ghosts and things. I really think that that's part of what my childhood was. But again, my focus has never been there. So do you think they are here more now, both negative and positive, or we're seeing them better, or?
I feel that they're very dimensional on some levels. And what I try to tell people is I believe that they're higher ETs and lower. I feel that they fall into three different levels. You know, just I'm going to say average, lower, and higher. So what does that mean? I don't feel that. I feel like when we raise our vibration, when we reach a certain level, when we don't see it as negative, and how this is my own learning path. My mom thought she was abducted by aliens her whole entire life. She would tell me stories about this, and I would always have this thing like, not me. Nope, you stay over there. We're not part of this generation, not me. And I would always say, not me. When I opened up a metaphysical store, and I started working with people, and they would start talking about, you know, ETs and aliens and things of that nature, I started to have these alien experiences, but they weren't what she was telling me about. It wasn't like the grays and things of that nature. It was a higher frequency that I was experiencing. If I was learning a different energy healing modality, I have had aliens step forward. I could be working on someone and have two aliens step forward because those were their guides in order to clear whatever needed to be clear for that particular person. And what ended up happening is when I took my theta class, it was kind of like I was having this thing because people were talking about, they were talking about like the reptilians. Okay, and they were talking about different things about how negative they are, And what ended up happening is I took a theta class, and you go up to the 7th plane of existence where you're up there with the creator. And then when I got there, I had this guide ask me, are you ready to go up to the next level? I go, what next level? We stop at level 7. So I go up to the next level. And I open up, and there's this auditorium, and there's all these beings. It's like groups of 12 of all these beings that exist. And for the first time, I got it. And what I mean by got it, my aha moment was, we have, whether it's Jesus, Buddha, our ascended masters that are here, Krishna, you know, doesn't matter, Ra, doesn't matter. Those are our ascended masters for planet Earth. They affect planet Earth. So wouldn't you have ascended masters for these other planets as well? And if you do, why wouldn't you work with that? Why would you stay in this little box that is only Earth, when you have the ability to work with these higher frequencies and these higher vibrations that affect other planetary life? Why wouldn't you want to invite that into your life? And I said, oh, I get it. You know, for the first time I had that aha moment, I get it. They have ascended masters too. You know, you can come to our planet, you can meet Mother Teresa, and you can meet Charles Manson. You know, I guess you can meet the same thing. It doesn't matter what planet you're on. So to me, reptilians stop becoming this bad thing. It was like everything was written about it being, bad, and it didn't become bad to me. It says some people meet good ones and some people meet bad ones. It's just a vibration of what it is that you're meeting at that particular time. And energy is energy. If your vibration is at a higher frequency, the frequencies you meet usually harmonize with that frequency. And if it's a lower frequency, then you're more powerful than it, and you have the power to send it away.
I like that. Very well put. It's like, all right, E.T. I did one. I mean, I've been talking to the dead, our realm dead, for so long, and Maximilian de Lafayette, one of my mentors, and who we've briefly worked with the Federation way back when. He had me do one with all these like Anunnaki words and ancient words, because he is a ancient, whatever you call it, a language specialist. And it was a whole different thing that came to the seance. It wasn't ghosts and spirits and elementals and grandma or anything like that. It was different. Do you think, now I haven't experienced, again, and I'm not that experienced, I'm not going to say in that realm of things, can you get a ghost and an elemental and an ET in the same room, or are they on different? I feel like I'm walked into a bar commercial. Okay, an alien, an ET, and a
I feel that we're connected to all of those frequencies. And I feel that you can have all of them come forward at the same time, whether you're doing a healing or channeling. When we hold a channeling class, or when I have taught people how to channel, I would not limit what they can bring through. And when I didn't limit it, and some people say, we only want to work with the higher vibrations. And what I mean by that is they only wanted to work with Mother Mary, Jesus, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel. Well, this person's elemental. What are they going to have? They're going to have fairies that are going to step forward. That's what they channel. This person works with ETs. So why wouldn't you allow them to bring those? They're higher frequencies, they're higher vibrations. Let's work with that. Let's not limit it. And I think when we try to teach these classes in a box, we only want this. What ends up happening is not everyone's going to be able to connect, because you are holding their higher frequencies back because you're creating the box. So I have seen people, channel all kinds of frequencies. And a big one that's coming forward now, and it's like I've seen it for 16 years, but I know it's something that's now prevalent. It's called light language. I don't know if you've heard of light language, but
I've heard the term, but I don't know what it means.
What happens is people start channeling and they start saying words that don't make sense, and it's like these sounds that come forward that don't make sense. It sounds like gibberish. However, if you feel the frequency of it, when I would have people in the class, I would say, just spit it out. And they're like, but Joy, it doesn't make any sense. Just say whatever comes into your head. So then they start with this gibberish, and they're doing this with their hands. And I see them all moving their hands this way with this gibberish. And I turn around and go, it's part of your energy healing. It is sound that actually clears. I said, don't hold back and think it sounds crazy because you're not saying anything that makes any sense. Allow it just to flow. Be an open vessel to channel that, because I've seen many people do healings with it. And I've seen people do it over the years in our channeling classes, over the years of this. Now it's as big. There's a light language university. There's light language. Everyone is doing light language today. And it's something that I've seen sporadically over the past 16 years.
That's wild. And I must say, when we did that ET, whatever, through Maximilian, we did that. I always have the movement. I step in the body movements, but we had that, and we had the languaging and the different languaging when we did it from that higher vibration extraterrestrial. That's great. I must say, combining, several years ago, before he got in big trouble and jailed, I went and saw John of God, who was this healer, and what he talked about is that he channeled, because he stuck your hand and whatever, and surrounded by mediums. But they claimed that he channeled deceased doctors and then saints and angels. But I saw the ET there too. That's one of the first I saw. So saints and angels and and extraterrestrials is who he was working with before I guess he fell down a rabbit hole. I don't know that
Mhm.
whole story, but now is that light language similar, do you think, energetically to what a Pentecostal Christian would call speaking in tongues?
I feel that it is, but you could feel the difference of the frequency. And some of it just sounds different. Some of it could be Native American too, just by the tones that come through. Some I call it Egyptian. It's kind of like, I've watched over the years La Mi Wa. I know someone who channels this saying. Actually, it's Seon who channels it, and it's La Mi Wa Nu Ra, and you say it over and over and over again. Well, those all hold frequency. Those words hold frequency. So when some people are going Nu Ra Blah, to me, it's very Egyptian. And let's just talk about what is Egypt, or what is Egyptian. I really want to say that Akhenaten is one of my absolute favorites. Akhenaten is who I've always been connected to ever since I was a little girl. And to me, he was very alien. He doesn't look human. He looks like he is a hybrid. And I feel that he came to this planet in order to raise the consciousness of this planet, because he was talking about the same thing Jesus was talking about 3,500 years before Jesus actually said it. And it was talking about the one true God, the connection to that one true God, and taking some of these other gods and making them angels and having that one true God. I feel that it was here to raise this vibration. I feel that if you look at a lot of things that are going on in ancient Egypt, it's very alien. I believe there are alien races that actually created it. And there's this Mars Egypt connection. We hear about the face on Mars. We hear about the pyramids on Mars. And I've always been connected to that as well. In fact, when they first discovered it, for 1976, I cut up the article and I've kept it ever since, because I felt like I had a past life on Mars at one point. And I feel like they came to this planet in order to raise our vibration, in order to change things that were here, in order to bring us to a higher frequency. I believe the Pleiadians also have been part of this planet. The Orionites have been part of this planet. And we are a seeded planet. That's why we're so different. It's why we're so unique to this particular planet, is that I feel that the ETs are the ones that actually helped us get to where we are today. So, when we do things like, let's try nuclear power, we don't realize all the dimensions that we're affecting at that point. And I tell people, I said, there's a story about how what brought Gorbachev together with Reagan in order to, start talking was, there's this story out there that there were flying saucers that set up all the nuclear power in Russia, set off all the nuclear bombs in the United States, and it went on countdown. Okay. And then all of a sudden they realized they had this common enemy, and then it stopped and the flying saucers left. And then all of a sudden we started to talk. That's when the powers to be came together and started talking. And if you realize what Reagan said at that time, he was talking about Star Wars. We need something to protect us from this, something that may actually affect us out there. And I feel what happened at that when I look at what happened at that time, is we learned that there were ETs for the first time. We always knew that it needed to be hidden, but I think the powers to be knew that there were aliens. Why did they show up? We start doing these atomic bombs and they go, okay, those children have really done it this time. We need to go give them a little wake-up call and let them know that there's something more powerful than them out there.
Yeah. Take away their toys. That's fascinating to me. Anyway, see you guys, everybody, my listeners, how big, magical, amazing, wide world it is out there. I have 1,000 questions, but we don't have time. So will you come back again soon, Joy?
I
Want to
sure
get
will.
into you're next and you're next and you're next, because I know you do beautiful trips. You do like adventure travel to magical places, from the pyramids to all sorts of places.
We're going to take Mexico this September, and we're taking people to Sedona in I think it's November of this year.
Okay, so how can people find you? How can people find your shop?
People can find me at miraclesofjoy.org. That's miraclesofjoy.org, or Miracles of Joy Metaphysical Store in Louisville, Texas, 701 South Old Orchard. You can call us at 972-221-8080.
And you guys, you will feel it. You will know. And beautiful shop as far as even a retail shop. The herbs, the oils, the sprays, the crystals. It's a good one. So check it out if you're in the area, and we have this World Wide Web. If you're not, I'm going to go back there in December. So we will have to do this again soon. So
Okay.
thank you for your
Thank
magic,
you so
Joy.
much, Patti.
Thank you for visiting the Witching Hour.